Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Christina Thompson. It's time to get you caught up with some rapid reactions. It's a divided morning on Twitter today. People react to 3 busloads of migrants being dropped off in front of Vice President Kamala Harris's D.C. house on Christmas Eve. Reports are saying these buses did come from Governor Greg Abbott in Texas as he tries to call attention to the chaos at the southern border. It's severely impacting his state. This move was met with heavy backlash from the left, of course, calling it a human rights crime to throw them out in the frigid cold on Christmas as part of a stunt for personal political gain, and wondering how Governor Abbott can continue to be governor. The governor himself tweeted out his wishes for a Merry Christmas, along with a quote from Isaiah saying, "May the joy of our Savior's birth fill your hearts today and every day," only to be met with more criticism. Users saying things like, "You'd have bust Jesus 1,000 miles away, Governor Herod," or even calling him a fake Christian. But there were those that defended his decision. Texas Congressman Ronnie Jackson bringing attention to the state of the border, saying the cartels are thriving on an open border and Kamala is silent. Others pointed out that even Texas had temperatures that dipped below freezing, with migrants still sleeping on the streets, trying to show that border states are severely struggling with the migrant surge as well.
And this morning, actually, there are new developments on those migrant buses. The illegal migrants were reportedly supposed to be dropped off in New York City, this according to advocates. They believe plans, though, were changed due to the heavy snowfall in the Northeast. A record snowstorm hit New York. 18 people died alone in New York State. For more on this, let's bring in former Homeland Security Advisor and former Secret Service Special Agent Charles Marino. Charles, what are you hearing about this?
Well, this is going to continue as the politicians in border states continue to keep pressure and visual optics here with the attention of the American public to make sure that nobody forgets about the national security and humanitarian crisis down on the border. And look, the mess that this is, the Biden administration owns. They just won't recognize the crisis down there in the border. And that's why you have these border state governors taking the actions that they are. So you're going to continue to see these busloads of migrants be moved to primarily sanctuary states, and on we'll go, because the Biden administration shows no intention or interest in changing their flawed strategies.
Charles, I know that Governor Abbott is very frustrated with what's happening at the border, but if it is true that he really did bust these people and leave them outside of the vice president's home, do you really think this is the right way to handle the situation? I mean, the temperatures, I was right outside. I was actually in D.C. over the weekend. It was freezing cold. I could not even be outside for more than 20 minutes. Some of these people crossing the border, you know, it's families with young children. Is it really right to just leave them out on the streets like that?
At the end of the day, it's not, right? We're talking about human beings, and we spoke about this a long time ago when it first started. And look, this is primarily politics. Politics. That's all this is. And that's why you're going to continue to see this. And what it is it's all the bad decisions of the Biden administration followed up by some more bad decisions. And it's all tied to politics. But let's remember, this whole mess the Biden administration set in motion well before they even got into office, when they decided that they were going to do away with Remain in Mexico Title 42. They didn't enforce either one of those. Title 42 is the last sort of deterrent that remains on the border. They've never consistently enforced that. And once it goes away, we're going to see this get extraordinarily worse. We're going to see the numbers that we're seeing now, 5,000 to 7,000 a day being encountered and making their way across the border, double at least at a minimum. So this is going to get worse, and you're going to continue to have bad decisions being made because everybody wants to keep their attention on this. What they should do is they should just go after the funding. The omnibus bill should not have been passed, makes no mention of border security, and therefore all this money that's being spent does nothing to solve what we're seeing down on the border right now.
Well, it did actually mention border security for Middle East countries, right? Nothing for our actual border. And,
that's right.
You know, but I can't imagine that Governor Abbott would, or any governor would, even as part of a PR stunt, would just send a busload of people and drop them off in the middle of nowhere, freezing cold with their shorts on. And this, I just can't imagine, because if that is the case, that is inhumane. You know, I mean, I just can't imagine it. And there's usually these non-governmental organizations that are there waiting. I mean, this is not something that just happens like sporadically. Oh, we're just going to plop these people on and we're just going to bust them here and everywhere. But again, this is all because of President Biden's policies, because he's refusing to do anything about it. And Charles, you mentioned the Remain in Mexico policy, which required people to stay in Mexico, stay in their country of origin, and then file their asylum claims there while they await. And then if they get granted asylum, sure, come on in. If they don't, you stay where you are. What about also sending judges to the border, right? What about sending judges to the border and adjudicating these people and saying, okay, let's fast track your asylum claims. And then if you qualify, come on in. If you don't, okay, go back.
Yeah, it's a fair point. The entirety of the system, the border security, the immigration system is overwhelmed. And it's overwhelmed because of what's being allowed down there. Immigration judges have never been robust in terms of the resources, even when the law was being enforced and people were being turned away. There were still plenty of asylum hearings and immigration hearings to be held. So we never had enough judges to process all of the adjudications. But now, forget it. You've got immigration judges leaving in waves. And what we're seeing is a system that was barely able to keep up when the law was being enforced and a minimum amount of people were being allowed in and coming in according to the process. We're now seeing that all but abandoned. And so now the entire system is overwhelmed, and you're never going to catch up. The average wait time for an immigration hearing was anywhere from 5 to 7 years. I can only imagine what that wait time is now. And you're just going to have people disappear within the United States and never show up.
All of this is happening as Title 42, that border policy, it's still in limbo. What needs to happen with that?
Well, like I said, it's the last deterrent that we're seeing on the border. We know it wasn't uniformly enforced during COVID. We know that illegal migrants were being let in without COVID tests, et cetera, and being set free into the interior of the United States. So, however, it does serve as the last remaining deterrent because the illegal immigrants that are coming into the country know that, hey, Title 42 could possibly be used against me and I can be sent back to the country of origin. Once this leaves, which I think they should, the Supreme Court had it right. It's a shame that we have to rely on the courts to set our immigration policies since the Biden administration doesn't know how to do it. But the Supreme Court had it right when they instituted that stay on Title 42. I think he needed to stay, but we always knew Title 42 was not for the long haul. It's a CDC rule, and therefore they need to come up with long-standing immigration laws, which are already in place. They need to be executed upon and enforced. And as long as the Biden administration chooses not to enforce the law, then this is what we're going to have happen. And I'll close with this. President Biden has a saying. He says, "Don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget and I'll tell you what you value." Well, if we look at his budget and what he values, it's not the safety and the security of the American public. And all his budget goes towards, with respect to immigration, is the processing of illegal migrants, processing them into the country, not deterring.
It is so unfortunate, and yet they still want to say that the border is secure. Karine Jean-Pierre, the border is secure. So we shall see what will happen in the new year. Thank you so much. Thanks, Charles Marino. Plenty more still to come, though.